I'm Gary Jobson in Annapolis, and welcome back to the Volvo Ocean Race Round the World. While I was in Boston, I was able to speak with several of the skippers, as well as the 53-year-old veteran bowman, Jerry Kirby. Unfortunately, Jerry was unable to do this leg because his wife has a serious illness, but he did tell me about his experience so far and if he'd ever do this race again. Today, a special treat. I'm with Jerry Kirby, a luminary in round-the-world racing. Jerry, at the age of 53, does this get harder or easier as time goes on?
Well, I would say easier. The mental part of the race is really a big issue. I mean, and knowing what you have and knowing what your limits are helps with that. As long as your body holds out, the boats have not gotten easier. The physical aspect is much harder.
You know, when you were a young guy working on the docks for some of the America's Cup crews, carrying sails and stuff, did you ever envision that one day you'd be racing around the world in something like Puma?
Never had. I mean, I couldn't even dream of a boat like this. What's amazing is I can remember Olin Stevens talking about the progression of splitting the keel and the rudder, and just talking about how far boats could go. And he said, one day they could be flying on foils. And Olin Stevens was a pretty smart guy, but I never imagined that the boats would have the sort of boat speeds and power that they have now. And it's just happy that I've been in the game long enough to go race these boats.
Describe for us, what is it like being aboard the boat when you're going at 30+ knots?
It's a dangerous platform to sail on, but it's an adrenaline rush and it's fantastic. The boat really reacts like a dinghy, and probably the only thing that gets dangerous for every boat out here is the deceleration plowing into the next wave. This is one of the few boats that goes so fast it outruns the surf. So when you get into that 30+ knot range, you're smashing into waves and it becomes a whole different dynamic. It's one of the few boats where you may decide to throttle back so you can make the whole race.
Will we see you in a future race around the world?
Gary, I was supposed to quit 20 years ago. I'll be back.
The sport of sailing is lucky to have superstars like Jerry Kirby, and I'm sure the Puma crew is missing him on their way to Ireland. Jerry, all the best to you, your wife Kim, and your family, from your fans from around the United States and from all of us here in Annapolis. And now, let's get back on the water.